Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another podcast episode here. It's been ever so long since we've managed to get another podcast up, but we've got a very special one. We've got Vinh, the new leader of the L1 team, to speak to us and just let us know how things are going and really getting an information relay from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Vinh, thank you so much for joining us on the channel here. I really appreciate you taking the time out to come and speak to us here in the community. So how are you and how are things going?
Hi. I'm really appreciated to be invited to your podcast. So I'm also willing to share information so far on the L1 team and situations. Thank you for asking. I'm feeling great today, and I can also admit that it has been really hectic since LUNCBurn army leave. A lot has to be taken over, but I can say that everything is in good order now.
Yeah, you've had a really, really big gap to fill in a very short amount of time. The reaction of the L1 team that has remained was extraordinary. It was exactly what we needed at the exact moment, and it just kind of shows how much we've grown as a community and how much you guys have grown as a team. There's obviously a very strong bond between you all, and you know, it's very sad to see what has happened, but to see that you've stayed and the others that have stayed, you know, for me, this means everything. It means we can continue working and we can continue pushing forward for a better decentralized system.
I agree. What my comment on that is before LUNCBurn army leave. He did announce it prior in like 10 hours or so. So we all know what's going to be and have some preparations. You know, like just in case rabbi attack or something. We did have some time to prepare and to transition roles and tasks. So maybe for like everyone on the community, maybe you will see like Steve leave is a little bit sudden, but inside in the team, like everyone is prepared and is ready to handle the tasks pass on from Steve from LUNCBurn and me and Teal. And that's how like the L1 team can continue its operation seamlessly. And a very fascinating news that like Gavik, a member on the L1, like although he got a little bit shocked by LUNCBurn army leave, however, he still delivered the on-ramp provider on his station. So just to prove that all the operation continues as normal. And I think that's what the community want to hear most, is to observe the L1 working as normal.
Definitely. We've walked this path, I mean, countless times now, and it's the same group performing those same actions to remove those who are leading the path. Edward Kim, Tobias, LBA, you know, it continues, and it's just like it's absolutely ruthless down to its core if you simplify it for what it is. It's a ruthless tactic and it becomes the nuclear option. But, you know, that reaction that you guys gave was, for me, it was just like, wow, you know, we really have evolved as a community. And, you know, you guys have learned that it's so hard to come across a group of people, right, that are just willing to keep pushing those boundaries and getting to a hurdle and simply going, well, this is not a hurdle and we can get around it this way and we can get around it that way, instead of going, well, you know, this is a problem and that's a problem. You're finding solutions every time at every corner, and it's just like, this is what we need, and we need to continue pushing. When you're on this road, when you're pushing towards something good, there's always going to be people fighting to stop it from happening, and that's simply what the Rabbi Click is doing. But you know, you're talking to us about this on-ramp. This is huge, especially with the recent proposal that's just passed for a governance, you know, built station, which is totally free of the TFL fund, not asking for updates. Having an on-ramp for that is going to be insane, and it's more good news. And like you're saying, right, you're showing the community that, hey, there has been a hurdle, but we're still working, we're still producing, and we're still moving forward, right?
Yes, absolutely. Regarding the past proposal recently on station, finder, and wallet extension. The L1 team is really happy that, like, if we can provide this to the community, and of course that under our control and quality, so that the community like will feel much more safer when using these critical infrastructure. I know that there have been like several options on the community so far. From TFL, we all know like how long it's going to take them to update their station. On many occasions, the L1 team members even push for those change on TFL station. Like, we literally create pull requests, submitting them to station and to Terra.js. And we are even trying multiple attempts to contact TFL. But it appears that the Terra Classic is not have the attention it needs from TFL. So I totally understand why the community wants its own finder station and wallet extension. A second option is from the Hexagon station, finder, and wallet extension. The Hexagon is formerly Revivalist, so they recently do a name change. For the second option, people have shown concern that it may contain backdoor or exploit something. So what I really want to do is that to bring those infrastructure back into the L1 fold, and then we like do a full check on the source code. Like, we will scrutinize every bit of the code change to make sure that there's no such backdoor, that it is safe, and that people can trust.
So just before we go any further, folks, to try and simplify that as best as I can, there's two options. We either go for the option of doing everything from scratch ourselves, or we take the offer of a copied repository of the current Hexagon build of their Terra Classic infrastructure. Vinh is explaining that they would scrutinize it down to its last line of code to ensure there's no backdoors. Am I right in saying that, Vinh?
Yes, you are very correct about those two options. For the first option of building it from scratch, so there's something that we need to, like, a little bit of history about the Terra station infrastructure. So back in October or November, Terra Rebels, so they contact TFL to ask for guidance, and TFL provide help on how they can deploy infrastructure and how they can fix station. So all of this is like a know-how from TFL, and if we decide to build from scratch, then all this know-how have to be rediscovered again, which can be really time-consuming. Like just to give a little bit of time estimation, if we decide to go down the route of building from scratch. Firstly, for the code is readily available, but it will need change to package. Like for TFL, like properly they hire like many teams to work on front end, since there were so many package and many of them overlap another. So it's really like a matrix package that we would have to navigate. So that's the first one on the source code, and the second one on the deployment infrastructure. The same happened with package again. TFL seems to have like FCD, mantle mean, LCD, full node, archive node. Like they got a lot of these just overlap one another. And there are also some sort of like GraphQL as well, GraphQL deployment. So without the guidance, then we would have to navigate that mess again. So just navigating can take. So this is input from Gavik, from a layer 2 developer on our L1. So Gavik said to me that it will probably take him about 3 months to navigate all these dependent package and infrastructure just to deploy station. So it's going to be like very time consuming, and I think that the community doesn't need to wait that long. Like if people just have to wait for 3 months just to like trade and swap and view their balance, then I don't think like it will be nice for the community. So
but for us in the ideal world, taking a copy of the Terra Rebel repository, Hexagon, whatever they're rebranding themselves to, is probably our best option, because like you're saying, you can take a copy of that, you can reproduce it and scrutinize it down to its core and then build off of that. And that cuts out that 3-month time length, right?
For copying, it's not as simple as like copy and paste. It's very much about deployment side as well. So like for each of these products, there are like environments that need to set up. So this environment, you can understand it like keys to a house. Like you got to get the correct key so that you can enter the house, else you could be locked outside the house. And for this deployment, like there are probably like 5 to 6 keys that you need to unlock to get into the house.
What you're telling us is that Hexagon, aka Terra Rebels, need to more or less give you the build, right?
Yes, they need to transfer their know-how to us.
Which if you think about it, right, and then we summarize this down, a good word for this is called bastardization. We paid for that knowledge as a community. So we kind of owed it, right?
Yes, I this this is a little bit like ambiguous to me actually, since this kind of knowledge will never be written into proposal. So I'm not really sure if they are forced to transfer the knowledge or not. This knowledge like is very crucial for deployment. Like I mean, like Terrible themselves don't know initially. Like they also need time to tweak, and they also need help from TFL. So it's just like knowledge passed down. And I'm not sure if we can force them to transfer this know-how. Like this is not something that I
definitely not. You can't ever force anybody to do anything at the end of the day, but you can ask them as a validator of the community and as a respectful member of the community to obey governance. And you know, this would really speed us up, and the only reason they would say no is to prevent this from happening, which is utter chaos, because what we're trying to do down to its core is decentralize it. You know, they can keep running their systems, they can keep running their wallets, no one's stopping them from doing that. This is bringing another sector which everybody's actually going to use and trust, and it's not just going to be 5% of the community using it, it's going to be the other 95% that are consistently complaining because nothing works. I mean, myself as an NFT project leader who's built modules, auto compounding modules, and all these different things, right? And we just simply couldn't use those for like a month. And even now, the gas fees are so crazy at the moment on auto compounding that it's like broken the coffer bank on the main person who handles everything. And he's like come to me, said, you know, dude, it's been like 11 million in fees over the past like couple of days. And it's just like things have to change. They have to change, and we can't stay under the thumb of TFL. And it's like, you know, time and time again, we have allowed like bad people back into the space to get the same results. And that's honestly Einstein's definition of insanity, is to just continue to repeat the same thing over and over again and expect different results. That's Einstein's definition, by the way, folks, not the actual definition.
Yes. I totally agree with you on the point that if Terrible decide not to transfer the knowledge, so it can be like total chaos on the chain. So as a manager of the L1, so I have to think of this. I have to consider it like very carefully on how to transition peacefully and seamlessly, so that the end user don't get affected. Like I mean, like that'll be the worst scenario. Like is the end user getting affected from the L1 and L2 change. So this is a scenario that I do not want at all, is to get the end user to be affected. So that's why I talk this through with our members as well. So we all agree that like to protect end users, we have to consider the option of talking with Terribles and getting them into like getting them under the watchful eyes of L1, report on their code, check on their code, scrutinize every bit of their code, to make sure that like they don't contain any backdoors, vulnerabilities, or something. And once we have done the report, like we will be publishing it to the community so that everyone can see and verify for themselves. This is to ensure that people will feel much more safer when using Rebel Station, Finder, Rebel Station. And also one more point, like when we decide to take control of the rebel team. So they will all change their name to Terra Classic Station. So we will have like the true station for the community with Terra Classic image. So it will be like Terra Classic Fighter, Terra Classic Station, and Terra Classic Wallet extension.
That's it. The aim of this game is to remove power from everybody. So everybody's on an equal playing field. And this is all for me. The biggest end goal right here, I believe, from everything that I'm proposing currently and what we're talking about is, you know, getting to this goal of actual decentralization of the endpoint infrastructure across the active set, which is doable. And from my statistics, it's doable off of the top 15 validators can actually spin these extra nodes up to provide that infrastructure. But, you know, having the money to do that, it's a whole different ball game because, you know, you know this better than anybody. We're getting to each quarter and it's like, there's nothing left. L2 team? Nah. And it's...
I see.
You do this and you pay the money, you invest the time and you invest the workload into something like this and you save yourself upwards of $150,000 a year. That's a serious amount of money that can go into investing in other stuff, like all of the different things that you and I know that this blockchain needs. And it's like, this all starts at the core and there's too many people who have taken power into their own hands. We're seeing it with Commonwealth. You know, someone docks someone illegally on there and is still able to just be on there. It's like, if you're going to moderate. But like I was saying, pushing towards this goal, it's possible to decentralize this endpoint infrastructure that everybody seems to fight over all the time and just remove the power, because ultimately we need that level playing field. We brought in a 5% commission and things have changed since then. We're becoming more decentralized.
Yes. I totally agree on decentralizing endpoints. However, there are some that just cannot be decentralized. For example, an archive node. An archive node is currently 8 or 9 terabyte. So, like, the community can only host like very few archive nodes. So I would say it has to be like a more balanced approach where LCD and FCD can be decentralized, where archive node must sit in the hand of 1 or 2 people. So it's more about balanced approach.
Does everybody see what I did there? I don't know if everybody just caught what I did there. But, you know, pretty much what you've just explained to me is like cultivating an idea that we've just spoken about. And you're saying to me, well, yeah, it's doable, but we're going to have to do this, that, and the other. And it's once again, like, if we have the time, we have the resources, and we're wasting all of this money, and there's other options. You know, if you're a big company like Tesla, what would you do? Spend $40,000 to remove a $150,000 a year, you know, spend, or would you rather just keep spending that $150,000? Of course you're not going to keep doing that. You're going to pay the $40,000 to get it all sorted out so you don't have to keep paying that running cost. And it's like, we have to pioneer in new ideas. Luna itself was pioneered in by Do Kwon. The whole system, the market module, you know, it all came out of that guy's brain, and everybody else cultivated on that. And, you know, TFL became what they were up until the point of the collapse. So it's just like, if they could take this coin from 32 pence a coin previously to 116 pounds a coin, it's like, we can do anything that we set out to do. If we want it that much, we will get it. And I think that's really what it comes down to. But, you know, would you agree, Vin, by saying, you know, it's better off us spending a bulk amount of money to remove that yearly infrastructure cost forever? Or is it better to continue paying that 150k a year?
Um, so this would be a really complicated complicated situation, since the infrastructure has to be separated. So let me walk you through on details, because some can be cut and some cannot. Let's take for example of let's take an example of LCD and SCD, for example. So for LCD and FCD, we can decentralize these things, and we can like everyone can deploy LCD and FCD, and they can provide stably to the community. Running these often costs about few $100 as well. So the cost is not that much, and I think that the community pool can handle. But on to the second infrastructure, which is the archive node. So for the archive node, just to give everyone an idea on what an archive node do. So an archive node, like many teams require this, so that it will help them query back into like long history. And why an archive node is much bigger than an LCD or FCD. This is due to the fact that FCD, LCD, they only maintain like a certain height. Like when you are at 100, then they will only maintain the history from block 50 to block 100. And when they move up that, like let's say block 200, so they will maintain the history from block 150 to 200. So like if you query the history of block 100, then you cannot query, since the FCD already passed that point. The FCD has already passed that point of history, so you cannot query back too far. This is not the situation with archive node. Like currently on Lunc, like we are at like, I'm not sure which block we're at, like probably more than 1 million. However, you can even query back to block 1. Like this is the only unique point of an archive node. And maintaining this archive node comes with like expensive bill, since you have to maintain like around 9 terabyte of storage space. So this can easily mount up to like $4,000 or $5,000. Like very like very expensive.
Yeah, but if you then more or less decentralize that actual cost across those who are carrying the weight, so to speak. So the way this would work is the top 15 validators should more or less have to give a portion towards this. And obviously this would all have to be something that would be voted through governance. But ultimately, you know, the top 15, they're getting the most rewards, and there's a real huge centralization of power in the top 5 nodes. And it's a lot of money. It's like $10,000 upwards they get a month. Now, we know that people like all nodes are, when I say professionals in the sector, I think you know this better than most, Vin, that the way they handle things is way better than anybody else that handles anything similar to them in the sector. They are more or less the goats of nodes. They literally, their system, from what me and Strafe have discussed, is totally different to the way other people do it. So And then I know myself, the endpoint infrastructure actually all points back to a Canadian data center as well, which is something else that was being discussed and that I had come across. So, you know, the technology is available to do something like this. It's all about pioneering in new ideas and then cultivating that idea and fashioning it into a working tool. If we look at Alliance, right? I never thought something like that could ever work. And I still don't believe it can work now, but there's a lot of people that do believe it can work. You know, they're pioneering in something completely different. Completely different.
I see what you mean. I regarding all nodes. So they are a team of many, and sometimes it get a little bit unstable endpoint. This is what I have observed. I think we should bet
that's the stability. That's the stability with the APIs and stuff like that, though, and that then relays back to the TFL endpoint infrastructure, from what I've been made aware of. I could be wrong, though.
So maybe back in the day, like all node is very stable endpoint where they can handle a lot of traffic. But I observe instability in the API, like not huge, but I observe like when I try to query some, I do saw like sometimes it error out. So what my best view is that to see all nodes as one of the provider, and with them on board, like we'll be in much safer position, since we have like a big infrastructure team on our side. So that's how I would view about all nodes.
Definitely. A little bit of a backstory here about endpoints, RCDs, infrastructure, costs, and stuff like that. Prior to Terrace Vita attempting to do what Hexagon are doing now, okay, all nodes were the main sustenance, and they like Vin's explaining, right? It costs money to apply hardware for more traffic, and it's the same with like Lunc Dash or any website. More traffic, more hardware that is required to keep that system running. This whole situation surrounding my chair's so squeaky. Sorry, folks. This whole situation surrounding that instability actually stems from Terrace Vita, because Terrace Vita claimed they were running endpoints, which they weren't. All nodes are running those endpoints for them, and they never footed the bill for those endpoints. When they didn't foot the bill, all nodes was left with that bill to foot, from what I understand, from what I can make out from all of my sort of like history of being here. So I think that all stems back to people, you know, trying to take something over, and then the Terraport crash happened, hack, whatever you want to call it, and they definitely couldn't foot the bill. So now all nodes are in a position where it was like Hexagon are playing the smart card by, you know, oh, it's, you know, costs for the Terra Classic infrastructure, when really at that time it wasn't. They hadn't rebranded then. So it was all very smart wording, shall we say. But I think this whole, you know, that spat was definitely to do with the Terrace Vita situation. 100%.
I see what you mean. I think if we can talk with Rex from TCV, then like we would know more on the situation. But I agree with you on one fact that like with Terraport, right? So they did lose a lot of money, and they cannot sustain the all nodes endpoint. So it can be a factor leading to instability. Yes, it's one part I agree with you. Personally, I also agree. I also agree with you on one part is that like top validator can cut a portion of their income to pay for the infrastructure. So like if like all top validator can cut a portion of them and have all nodes on the infrastructure, so I think that would be like really good to maintain all node endpoints.
Definitely. All nodes, they already foot a huge bill themselves every month to keep what infrastructure they do keep open currently. And they don't need to do that. You know, it's one of those things where they've always just been there for the blockchain. This kind of like, whenever we need to slump, they're there, you know, we've got you, we'll push you back up, and, you know, what do you guys need? And they're always there. And when they were themselves attacked by Rabbi, you know, it's not just you guys that have like, you know, it's like a conspiracy at this point. It's insane. Oh, but, you know, things are moving in the right direction, would you say, Vin?
Let's see. I have no idea about like conspiracy from Rabbi. I mean, it's a little bit about history that I'm not familiar with. Yeah, I have no idea why. I have no idea why Rabbi did what he did. I have no idea if like the Terra Allies or the Lunc Academy is involved in the attack.
Have you ever been told about the 12% USTC burn?
12%. No, I have never heard of such. Never heard of such.
Yeah, there you go. This is something that's actually very, very like it was a very strange event at the time, and it was like, why did they do that? Someone in the LUNCDAO like crony team or whatever they are, right, burnt 12% of the USTC supply. In one transaction, it crashed the USDC supply. It crashed the price by like 100%, like within seconds. And it was just like, why did they just do that? You know, you've got to think about these people and what they've lost, right? And then all of us lot just came along and, you know, buying their millions of dollars worth of coins for like $2. You know, they're like, all right, I'm just going to burn everything. You know, it's all useless. Connor Kenny lost millions. He just burnt all of his coins, which was about 7 million LUNC coins that he burnt. And he was like, that's everything. You know, that was worth millions at the time. You know, so we're talking about a lot of money. And then at the same time, we are an identical blockchain to Luna, right? There's not a huge difference between us. You know, there's only room for one of us in this sector ultimately to like push forward and take that algorithmic coin and, you know, get that market module back. I think the threat's real at this point. And, you know, if you think about it and look at it logically, they'll always go for the people that are leading the charge. Always. You know, they're not bothering Steve anymore. He's gone. He's done. They're not bothering Tobias. He's done. He's gone. Ed, nah, he's done, gone too. You know, it's just step by step by step. Keep destroying and demolishing wherever and however you can. It's... yeah, so the conspiracy runs insanely deep, I must say. There's so many different opinions I've seen on it, but the one thing we know, you know, they're bad actors and they're going to continue to just keep doing this. But, you know, I think one thing that is like quite obvious is, you know, like, are you guys worried about being doxxed or anything like that? Or, you know, I don't even think you guys are even fussed about anything like that, are you? I think most of you are doxxed.
For myself, I have no problem with doxing.
Not that
even with
not that I'm asking you to dox, by the way. Not that I'm asking you to dox, but
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this is their nuclear option every time. It's like, oh, we'll get pictures of them, we'll get their addresses, and we'll post them online, and they'll be gone. And you know, I just I feel like we've got like 3 like Ion Men.
I think that like for the rest of the team members, so they don't need to go public and expose themselves, so they can remain underdogs. I mean, like inside the team, within the L1 team, like we talk ourselves to each other. So so within the team we have trust, but from outside the team, so we keep ourselves underdogs to protect us. Do you know what happened to LUNCBurn army until
I do.
when them when they're
disgusting, absolutely disgusting. It's you know, there's like lines you just don't cross, and that was that, you know, it's not even like, oh, it's, you know, it's despicable that he's done it. It was illegal, you know.
Yeah, I agree, and I can assure you that the same attack won't affect me. The same attack won't affect me. Like even if they dox me, then it won't affect my life at all. So I have a pretty strong safeguard against that. I like just my assumption, just my assumption. I do observe that like the L1 team has been through like 3 quarters. So for the first quarter we have Tobias, and at the end of the first quarter, Tobias left. So Steve, he took over the Tobias role, and then in the end quarter 2 of the second quarter, Steve left. So my assumption is that like Steve and Tobias, like they all have family to care about. They all live in Western countries, which can be affected by Rabbi team, since they also live in the same hemisphere. But with the rest of the L1 team, like we all live in Asia hemisphere, and me personally living in Vietnam, so Rabbi can't do anything in Vietnam. Like maybe he can do something in Canada, maybe he can do something in Denmark, but I'm pretty sure he can't do anything in Vietnam.
I honestly, if I could make a t-shirt and just put, he can't get me, I'm in Nam, just that on a t-shirt with like you with your thumbs up, that'd be epic. Damn, grandma. I love your attitude. Honestly, the community need this. LUNC needs this, and the U-turn, I believe, happened a couple of weeks ago, and things are starting to move, you know, in a positive direction. And you know, the community is starting to understand this, that, you know, they are a threat, and you know, a lot of them are they're just ignoring them now, and they're more or less just bickering with themselves about nothing. It's insane, but the message is definitely getting through.
Yes. So I just have to say this to ensure the community that the L1 team will stay much more stronger this time. And like also to like I also want to like prevent like, let's say, future conflict. So I think best that the L1 manager will be in a neutral role, where like I won't make comments on anything, or I won't lead the charge on anything. So this position of neutral will reduce attack surface on the L1 team and ensure its long-lasting position.
Definitely. I 100% agree with what you've just said there. Meeting in the middle is so important for me, regardless of what you've done. Like, say you've been a bad actor, right? Everybody can change. Like, everybody can change, and we can all meet at the middle and push forward together as a unit. And that's what the LUNC community would rather probably see, is everybody all of a sudden just go, whoop, and we all become this one big huddle, and we're all just sort of waddling forward together. And it's just, I will always meet in the middle and I'll always respect governance. And it's absolutely good to hear you say stuff like that. Vin, there's, we've had 3 team members leave now. What are the plans to fill those roles?
For LUNCBurn army role, so his position will be split between me and Iron Man. For two role, I will soon post. Like a hiring requirement for a smart contract infrastructure support engineer role, and I will be seeking out person for that role. To give a little bit of context, so during my time working on the WASM migration, so I observed that like the Terra Classic chain is like, it's in a much better shape now, and it's in a much like stable position than before. So the chain should remain stable with like like small change without large breaking change. The time of large breaking change have gone, and this is a really good thing for dApps and layer 2, because with a stable layer 1, then dApps and layer 2 can thrive. So I think that it's time for the layer 1 team to focus its direction on supporting infrastructure to allow dApps developer to come and build on Terra Classic as easy as possible, and the same for layer 2 teams as well. So this will be the new direction for L1. And to fulfill that direction, support infrastructure on smart contract, a support infrastructure engineer on smart contract is needed. It's something that I'm currently working on as well, where I build like testing library, utility script, and be in contact like with many dApp developers to support them as best as I could.
Hold up, are you talking about giving smart contracts the Tendermint sort of style here?
So I believe we can all agree that like the smart contract is what people come. The smart contract will be like to attract people. Like before the UST DPAC, So on Luna, like there were like many great examples, like Anchor Protocol, Mirror, White Whale, Kujira, Astropod. So all these D apps come on Terra with their innovative ideas, and when they come, it also attracts more people to come as well. I guess the best example is the best example is Astropod and Kujira. Like all these decks are like I gotta tell you, like 1 year ago, like all these decks was so innovative, like First of its Sky, and people just flock onto Terra Classic using these D apps, like making huge profit on this new innovative DeFi.
It was insane. It, like, folks, let me try and like draw a picture in your head.
If we can like revive.
It's not can, it's when. This isn't a can, this is a when. Like, if we think about what you're saying, and we really try to summarize a picture in the community's head that are listening right now, if you purchased a Lunarpunk for 1 Luna when they minted, I think the price of the coin was $2.47 at the time, and you sold that Lunarpunk at the top, you made a very hefty profit. But not only that, they came with staking rewards that were phenomenal at the time. The crash destroyed everything. But a project like that built at the very beginning, Vin, then became a very large project that, if the crash hadn't happened, it'd still be one of the largest NFT projects in the sector.
Yes. Yes. And I'm really hopeful that like with layer 1, with a stable layer 1 now, so we can look toward that future. We can look toward the future where every D app start developing on Lunc one more. I also saw many teams expressing their wish to return to Lunc, since Lunc seems to be the home. Lunc seems to be the original home. And all these D apps, they want to come back. They want to onboard. And to serve their need, Lunc needs documentation. Lunc needs
all of the stuff that I've proposed. It needs all of the proper docs, the proper finder, the proper station. We need all of the proper infra. I have got, and I can honestly say this to the community right now, I have 7 projects, 4 of which are games, 2 of which of those are mobile games, and then 3 protocols that also want to launch. One of those is called Gravedigger. Very, very interesting concept. If you're hearing people lining up Vin and saying they want to come back, and I'm all of a sudden seeing D-apps, projects and developers all of a sudden going, hey dude, can we launch? You know, how do we launch over there? You know, how do you do this? How do you do that? This is groundbreaking stuff. I'm kind of shaking right now. It's early here in the morning too. This is phenomenal. This is absolutely phenomenal. Like you're saying, providing this sustainable environment that is stable is what is going to attract and start to move things back upwards. This is groundbreaking stuff. Groundbreaking.
Yes. I think it will be good news for everyone on Lunc. We will be bootstrapping. We will be bootstrapping the infrastructure and the support that the apps team will need in Q3, alongside with the USTC proposal as well. So this will be our 2 focus main focus in Q3 is to bootstrap the support environment that the apps need and USTC proposal. So yeah, I can say that everything is going in right direction, and it's I believe it's a very fascinating news for everyone.
I think this is going to be very interesting news. I think they'll be sharing this one around quite a lot. This is good, and you know, this is the first time that a lot of people are going to get to hear your voice, Vin, and they're going to get to make a connection with you. And you know, what I believe is that as we've lost certain people, you know, we never thought we would lose Ed Kim. Oh, we lost him. You know, we never thought we'd lose Tobias. Well, we lost him. We never thought we'd lose Steve, but we lost him. And it's like, we're starting to get a more refined team, it seems. And, you know, you don't seem to me like someone who you seem like someone who just wants to consistently keep moving and keep working. And, you know, this on-ramp is going to be, that's not even like the tip of it, honestly. It's going to be insane, folks. And I think it will hit so fast and so hard all of a sudden. And all of the work and all of the sloggering about that we've done and everything we fought for will all of a sudden pay off. It's going to be insane. It really is.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's our position now. That's our position now. A stable layer 1 development team, and providing support for every D apps that coming along, and also with USTC team in progress right now. So I can say probably in the next 6 months, Lunc is going to look very different from now. So this is a moment of a beginning. This is a moment of beginning. This is a moment of a stable beginning. The Wasm upgrade is the last major change on the chain to make it be compatible with all other D apps. And the Wasm migration will be the last major change. And like I personally like have fixed many problems related to the Wasm change for many teams, and even for Astropod itself, their smart contract doesn't break. What breaks is their front end. If we can get Astropod and Delphi Labs to fix their front end, then Astropod will be live again. And in a situation that they still decide not to support, then I think we can spin up a quick front end for everyone to use. I guess everything is fixed. Everything is mostly fixed.
So the Wasm upgrade, I myself I'm quite excited for this. This is something that validators, us ourselves, you know, software updates, hardware updates, any kind of updates that affect us, we're always very interested to know what is it, you know, what's buried in this and the ins and outs of everything. Is it safe to say that you're going to have to, it's going to have to be a pull request and a merge from TFL again, right?
Yes. For the station, it's true. For the station,
yeah,
it will be just a pull request.
So once again, emphasizing, folks, the need to break free. Yeah, alongside every other need that supports that proposal, just that need to break free and become independent. Vin's explaining and, you know, saying about it's going to look a lot different in a few months. It definitely is when we're going to be rolling out updates and these guys don't need to go, oh, TFL, can you merge this for us? We've put a pull request in, and them going, well, yeah, you know, we'll get round to it. And, you know, before you know it, we're a month down the line, still waiting for a WASM upgrade. And yeah, times are changing. I'm ever so excited. I'm very happy to have met you, Vin, for the first time myself, speaking to you. It's been very nice. The conversations flowed and it's just been awesome. I really appreciate you putting in time, especially at last minute, the way that we've done this. It was all kind of last minute, and you know, you've made that extra reach out to come put yourself within this community, and that's so important for the LUNC community to see that a developer like yourself, who is so interweaved with the system and understands things, to just simply take that time out.
When you say like a developer intertwine with community, I would say like I've been in talk with many. How can I say? On Lunc, it's a very robust community. It's a very robust community where and also very open as well. Very open. Like when I reach out to validators or when I reach out to like old builders on Lunc, like they are very open to share their story and they are very open to support. So I say I'm very much appreciated with their help. Like they've been telling me like history on Lunc, like how terrible was formed, how everything went, and some of them like I managed to I managed to trust some with their support, and with their support like I managed to reach out to like many DApps developers. I managed to reach out to many layer 2 teams, all seeking for help, and I feel very glad that I can support them to be on Lunc. Especially, I want to mention about Vegas. Yeah, Vegas. Me personally feel Vegas is a very supportive person, and he has been helping me since the first month when I enter Terra Classic. I believe that Vegas was one of the longest people on Lunc, right?
I can honestly say that everybody can honestly stand by me on this as well. I was numero uno into this community. Vegas came about 2-3 weeks later, but you know, people like him have been here from the get-go, and those who have stories to tell, you know, listening to those stories, you can learn a lot. You know, whether they're telling the truth or they're telling lies, you can find out a lot from just the history of what a lot of us have been through. And what I never want to see is funding go towards Roombas and people to sit in Discords and talk to each other. I never ever want to see that happen ever again in my life, ever. The ridiculousness of stuff like that is just embarrassing for us as a blockchain. But, you know, times have changed. The times of pillage and plunder are over.
Yes. So, I can say, like, when I understand a little bit of history about Lunc, I saw, like, people criticizing others, which, like, hamper growth. on Lunc. Since and also because I'm a newcomer, I on board Lunc since January. So I feel like how about I go out and try to like connect people, like a little bit amending to ensure that like everyone can fully build on Lunc. I mean, like that's the end goal of L1, right? Is to push for people to be on Lunc, and that's the only goal I focus on, to push the people to be on Lunc. Like I don't really care if that person hates that person, or I don't really care if like there were some bad bloods going on. Like I don't care about it all. As long as they be on Lunc, then they will have support.
Yeah, I'm totally for that as well. My main support will always go to this blockchain, and it's, you know, many have always asked for my support, but my support will go to those that support this blockchain. And it really is as simple as that. Decentralizing this to our best extent and ensuring that we are leading the way in DeFi will ensure our future as a blockchain, and ensure that it's a good future and that we are leading the way and doing what we can to further decentralize things, removing those power plays, producing a level playing field. It is everything. It is absolutely everything. And proving those who believe, you know, it shouldn't be like that wrong. I think it's so important. But, you know, some finishing comments here for the community is that if you're sat here listening to this, if you're a developer, if you're Vegas Morph, if you're Raider from Hexagon, any person who's still building and still trying to push forward, regardless of your agenda, you're here, and that's what counts. So to those that we've left behind, I do salute you. You know, to those who are still with us, stand strong, stand firm, because we are about to blow this sector up, and it's going to be insane. And we're going to bring on a whole new community, whole new playing field, a whole new group of people, and it's just going to be insane. So many DApps just want to get involved with this. Having a, you know, there's no stable coins in our sector. The only one realistically is USDC through Axelar, and that's still a little bit ropey at the moment. It's not quite finite what it should be. You know, there's like this whole area in the cosmos that is just waiting for someone to go boom and capture the liquidity flow again, because we all need an algorithmic stable, or just a stable in the sector, don't we?
Yes, you are very right about that. For Cosmos ecosystem, there were, I believe, I want to share with the audience here on the stable SoFi and Cosmos from USDT. So USDT has been issued on Kiva natively, so we can get like native USDT when we bridge Terra Classic to Kiva. For USDC, it will be issued natively on Noble chain. So once Noble goes up, and we can deploy an IBC bridge from Noble to Terra Classic to get like native USDC as well. And for these two, for USDT, there were like 50 million issued natively. I've seen the number is not that huge considering like trading volume, but I think like Lunc can benefit from having a stable in our ecosystem. And these stable are like they can support the apps bidding on Lunc while waiting for our algorithmic stablecoin to be back online.
Some people would sit there, folks, and think, you know, Well, why would we just allow that to happen? Well, the aim of the game is to actually lock liquidity into the Cosmos itself, better more our blockchain in the Cosmos. Doing that and then going, once we've got the algorithmic stablecoin, and now we've got our algorithmic stablecoin, if you guys want to use this, people are going to be jumping on it like crazy. Like crazy. Lots of interesting stuff to come from that repeg. The quant team themselves, they're doing a really good job from what I can tell from their their little dashboard they've got up on GIT Hub. Things are going really well over there. It's on par with how you guys are getting on, right?
Quant team. So I'm trying to establish like a weekly call with them to ensure our coordination is smooth. So I talked with Alex Shaw from the USDC team, and I can see that the talk with Binance is still ongoing, and they will be building tools that will visualize how USDC can be repacked. So a little bit of visualization will be good for the community to see how it will be done. This is all in talk so far, and I will be having another one with the whole team. I think it will be like 10 hours from now. 10 hours from now, I will be having a conversation with the whole USDC team. And it'll get me a lot more into details so far, and how the AR1 team can support and help USDC team to build these tools. So I say everything is still going. Yeah, that'll be my comment on USDC team so far.
I think that's some really good closing comments there. And I think, we have covered a very broad amount in this. In fact, this is probably one of the best podcasts I feel like I've ever done. This has been absolutely insane for a first time. A lot to process for a lot of people. So I think we'll leave it there on this one. Vin, thank you so much for joining us. I hope to have you back again for another podcast. This has been absolutely amazing. I hope you folks are going to enjoy it. I'm sure Vin has probably got some closing comments. Is there anything you want to say to the community before we finish up here, Vin?
Yes. So one more thing I want to say to the community is that the L1 team operation is still normal, and if you need support or you need to be on Lunc, feel free to reach out to us to have some support.
If you need any support, feel free to reach out. The team are available. I'll try leave some links to all of that so you can have, those links straight away there once you've listened to this, and you don't need to go fumbling about looking for those. I'll try to get those from Vin. Vin, thank you so much for joining us. Folks, stay safe. Everything that's been spoken about here is specifically our own opinions, mine and Vin's, and nobody else's. None of this is financial advice, and it's all being for educational purposes only. Other than that, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware, and we will catch you in the next one.
See you, everyone.